Hi, this is my vlog 3 on the coaching process. In this vlog, I will be exploring my own coaching process, um, providing reflective feedback and how I can better improve my practice. I would like to start by explaining my coaching philosophy. I'm a coach who, as best as possible, uses evidence-based practice to instill methods and training protocols. I also follow an inclusive coaching style where I believe involving the athlete in decision making makes the buy-in process better. I think they buy into what we do a bit more with that. I also believe that having the athlete discover new ways of movement without over coaching, so trying to guide rather than over instruct, to help them find their own movement patterns and how they best should solve the movement problems put in front of them. I like them to also understand the why behind a process. So talking about why they should be doing something, again, I find it helps develop a two-way relationship and a sense of purpose behind the training process and knowing the exercises and methodologies used. The athlete and I, in this instance, have made the decision they require to improve their rate of force development and power production. We had a discussion on the best way they wanted to do that. They had a few options and they decided they wanted to try dealing with lifting. So in the session presented, we learned the first session of learning the clean as part of their training process. During this video, the components I'd like to visit are feedback and demonstration, and during a session and how I can improve upon these. I would also like to offer how I believe other elements of the coaching process directly or indirectly can affect these through the process or in the individual session. Due to levels of music and noise in the gym, I've taken the sound out and I have put in voiceovers and subtitles where appropriate. Hope you enjoy.
From this diagram from Lavelle et al. In 2003, we can see how much demonstration and verbal instruction is a key part of the skill acquisition and coaching process, as well as providing feedback. Hence, they are two parts I really want to focus on during this video. During this demo, I present the athlete with the information on how I would like her to perform the second pull of the clean by jumping with the bar, but the error I have made is that I do not demonstrate the full squat clean, which is the lift we are trying to develop today. As she is new to this movement, the work by Fitz and Posner would suggest that she is in a cognitive stage of learning. During this stage, the athlete is attempting to cognitively understand the requirements and parameters of the motor movement, and a clear vision of what the movement should look like alongside relevant feedback can be key to organising themselves in a meaningful way that leads to the acquisition of this motor pattern and movement. We can see also how the environmental factors of the coaching process can play a role. Here we're in a gym that's not a weightlifting gym, therefore the level of demonstration and the surroundings mean this athlete has not been exposed to what we are trying to achieve too much. Therefore demonstration is even more important. We can see from this last section that it is apparent that I am giving feedback after the exercise, and due to possibly offering too many cues, I then have to simplify the cue given by giving too many factors to change at once. This could be overloading the athlete and therefore mean they end up overlooking their basic movements as focusing on the smaller cues I have given. In this example, midway through the next set, I have to remind the athlete that the focus is the jump, as it becomes too focused on the catch and therefore cuts the extension short when trying to move the barbell. What is evident already in this vlog is that I present with a confused coaching style. I talk about self-organisation and how I like an inclusive practice. However, with self-organisation, I've also demonstrated that I've overcoached. I've thrown too much information at once. I think this is where I'm excited to teach the lift, I'm excited to train the athlete, and I'm trying to impart too much knowledge rather than sticking to the basic keys that work. I believe I do remedy this later in the session, which we should see, but this is a really good reflective practice for me to help improve my coaching process. During this part of my coaching, I try to shorten up the cues and just give jump and elbows up as a cue to try and allow the athlete to self-organise and concentrate on two small things. This is also where I start using small feedback cues. We try to keep this feedback short and positive. This augmented knowledge result feedback I am providing allows the athlete to learn and remember intrinsically how the good or better reps felt, which in turn makes them more repeatable. If we follow Schmidt's schema theory, this would aid in recalling the proprioceptive feedback that rep delivered. We can actually see in this set, by shortening up the cues and shortening up the feedback, we actually achieve the result we want. The triple extension that we're actually after for this whole process, we really get here, and you'll see it in the still from this rep. We come down, we see a nice triple extension. The only cue I gave was up to encourage that jump. During this set, the aim is to repeat the good qualities demonstrated thus far, and to offer positive encouragement when done well to build confidence in the lift and improve motivation, alongside providing augmented feedback like we discussed earlier. As this athlete is still in the cognitive stage, it is important she is getting positive feedback on what she has done well, opposed to using negative language and confusing the athlete by trying to correct too many small flaws at this early stage of learning. Moving on to front squatting now. Now this is a skill this athlete is more familiar with, and as I go into demonstrating and instructing on this, I make a couple of errors which I'm not too happy about. The first one being, where she's more familiar with it, I overcoach. I add in too many cues, too many things to go on. Luckily, it doesn't actually affect the outcome of the skill as she performs, but I talk, and you'll see here, I talk. There's too many points. The coaching is too long. My demonstration is fine, but I'm adding in too many cues of what not to do and negative reinforcement. So I talk about like how you shouldn't grip it and where your elbow shouldn't be, rather than keeping it simple and having knees out, hips back, elbows high, and letting her self-discover how she should be, and then offering feedback after the first rep. I've offered too much information before the first rep has even begun. The long delay seen here from the athlete actually walking up to the bar to unracking the bar is partly due to the overcoaching I mentioned earlier, the too much instruction. We can see from like Gentile's work in 1972 that if we instruct an outcome and a movement goal, it can cause confusion, and this is what has happened here, is trying to get her hands in the right position rather than just focusing on the actual front squat itself. This has caused a shift in focus from the squatting pattern into the grip she is using, which is actually not the focus of this session, and therefore missed the mark. During these sets, I have then had to regress the coaching style and just really focus on hammering home the key points while she's performing the set.
In conclusion, for my vlog 3, having reviewed my coaching and videoed it is a process I've not done before. I found it really interesting. I found how I've seen myself overcoach, and I've always seen myself as a coach which allows athletes to discover their own movement. Clearly, I've developed overcoaching, and I think I've got overexcited wanting to impart what I know and trying to get them to achieve their movement goals. And it's really encouraged me to review my process and strip back. So looking at the plan, do, review circle, we can see that during the do part I've over-instructed, and now with the review part I can rein that back in. I am quite pleased, however, with my relationship with the athletes, which I think is a big part of my coaching process, and my use of positive feedback. I think the knowledge of results from the augmented feedback loop is there from me giving cues. This athlete hasn't done the exercise before, so a knowledge of performance is not really applicable, as we can't measure the metrics. We'd like to do that. The only knowledge of performance we have is the weight moved, whereas the knowledge of results, they're getting the feedback from me saying good lift, well done, better, and that in turn is linking into their motor control or motor learning, that they're available, that they're developing that skill and they're getting better at it. I hope that's answered everything and got what we all want out of this vlog, and thank you for watching.